Hello guys, I'm Adrian Clarke and welcome to the breakdown. Arsenal progressed to round 4 of the FA Cup then, courtesy of a 4-1 win at Portsmouth. Didn't start too well, did it? One down after just 3 minutes, but a quick response, and from that moment on, I don't think anybody really thought that Arsenal were going to go out of the competition against the team. But yeah, overall, a pretty good performance, and I want to analyse it now, so let's crack straight on. I think the key tactical element of the game, or the key thing that really stood out, was the use of Mikel Merino. We've seen him up top, we've seen him on the left of midfield, on the right of midfield, in a box-to-box capacity, but we hadn't really seen him as that sitter. And he did that job in this game, and he did it quite superbly. I think he was outstanding in the game. He made 4 clearances, 3 tackles, 2 interceptions, 8 ball recoveries. That's the most of any Arsenal player. He won 6 of 10 duels. That was the most as well. He made 40 accurate passes. That also was the highest of all Gunners down there at Fratton Park. And 11 of those passes were into the final third. So it wasn't just little tippy-tappy passes. He was looking to play those forward balls as well. And there were some lovely little moves that he knitted together. I thought he pirouetted beautifully. He was very calm, I thought, on the ball. Wasn't rushed. He was happy to receive it off the back guys, off the keeper, and he played it through the lines on a number of occasions as well. So I think a top performance. He created 2 chances as well. So yeah, Mikel Merino, excellent on the day. But there is a but, and that's around the opening goal, actually, where the 2 players that were used out of position, Mikel Merino and Christian Norgard, I think will look back on it and think, could we have done a little bit better? So let's pick up the action, shall we? Where Pompey have the ball down on that left-hand side. Here you go. They've just come. Blair's come in field away from Ben White, and we'll pause it here. And for me, obviously, Norgard is ball watching, and he's got no idea where Colby Bishop is, the eventual goal scorer. So he gets fixated on the ball, and the striker gambles on a run behind him. And then you've got Mikel Merino, who's dropped in a little bit too deep, I would say, on the attacking midfielder. Does he need to be as deep as the centre-halves? I don't think so. It needs to be a little bit tighter as that ball comes across. And as you can see, when it comes across, he's not close enough to block the shot. Norgard has only just turned around. And by the time Kepa makes the save and Bishop is there on the rebound to tap it in. So I think that the 2 players, that incident caught those 2 players a little bit cold early on in the game. So they're not used to taking up those positions. And I think we can absolutely forgive that. Now, Gabriel Martinelli obviously scored a hat-trick in the game. Magnificent, really, from him. I can't believe how often he got in at the near post from corners. I mean, he hasn't really done that at all season, yet he does it 3 or 4 times in this particular match. He had 6 shots, Gabriel Martinelli, and for me, he should have scored 5 goals. I mean, his XG was 1.51, but I think he really could have scored 5 goals. Let's rattle through them, shall we? Very, very quickly. The main issue Pompey had was their zonal marking, and the guy at the front post was way ahead of the near post. He was basically on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the players behind him left too big a gap. There was a lovely, juicy little hole between the near post and the guy who was protecting the sort of domain on the edge of the 6-yard box, and that is what we targeted. And every single time Martinelli made that run from the far post right away across the box to meet the ball inside that lovely little hole. So here's goal number 1. It was so scrappy, of course, you don't need me to analyse what happened next. But there he is, stooping to get a little flick on at the near stick. Big hole behind, I think, Segacic it is there at the near stick. That's poor from Pompey. What's even poorer is that it happened again for goal number 2. Here you go. That's that in the white circle there. Look at the gap between Segacic and the rest of the defenders. He makes his way across that 6-yard box, Martinelli, to meet the ball. And that's a beautiful header, by the way, to get on the end of Madueke's excellent cross. Flip it to goal number 4. And they haven't learned their lesson, have they? On this occasion, actually, Mikel Merino also made a run to the near post. I think he wanted to get in on the act. It went just over his head. But Martinelli, again, in that pocket of space, behind the first man and ahead of everybody else, just flicks it in. Absolutely superb from Gabriel Martinelli from the corners. And I do think that Nicolas Jover deserves credit there, because to my eye, That's a weakness that he has looked at, he's studied. Portsmouth, by the way, conceded 14 set-piece goals in the Championship. That's the second most at that level, so it's an issue. And I strongly suspect that he's looked through a lot of their concessions and seen that fragility in their zonal setup. And boy, did we punish it. Credit Madueke for the deliveries. And of course, Martinelli for getting on the end of them as well. He did score another goal that obviously did come from another set piece. I want to just remind you of the origin of that set piece now. Here you go. And it's Miles Lewis-Skelly. It's a quick free kick. So he puts his hand on the ball and says, yeah, I'm going to take it quickly. And you can see Gabriel Jesus calling for it. It's not an easy pass. He's got to risk it between bodies there. And he plays it nice and early. It's a lovely first touch from Gabriel Jesus. And then as we roll it on, the ball in is absolute perfection from Jesus. Martinelli gets in the perfect position. This is what wide players need to do. Get in between the right back and the centre back and make that run towards the far post and into that avenue of or corridor of uncertainty. Jesus puts it, and he can't really miss, can he? He did miss, though, Gabriel Martinelli, a couple of, oh my goodness, gilt-edged opportunities. One of them was brilliantly created actually, they were both beautifully crafted. And I want to show you a little bit of the build-up. Initially, for this first one, Gabriel Jesus drops in short. He beats the entire midfield by dropping a shoulder, going past his man, and then driving at the heart of the Pompey defence. And he slips it wide to Ben White. And then we'll pick it up here where White whips a gorgeous cross into the box. What I want to highlight here, obviously Jesus is on the edge of the box. He's been involved in the build-up. He can't get there. But I love the fact that Madueke spun inside in the centre-forward position. I like the fact that Eza's got himself in there. And again, Martinelli in a position that you want your winger to be. And he misses, an open goal, really. It's a really poor contact at the far stick. There was another chance that I think Gabriel Martinelli will feel he should have scored as well, and it came from beautiful play. Mikel Merino, as I said, was terrific in the game, playing those passes through the lines. And this move was the perfect up, back, and through. So up to someone, in this case Eza, back to Merino again, and then through the gap to the run of Gabriel Martinelli. It's a common expression in football, up, back and through, and this was how to execute it. So we'll show you here. Mikel Merino gets it. It's a little 2v1. He pops a 1-2 off between himself and Eza, and you can see there Martinelli is already on the move before Merino has even passed the ball to Eza. He's anticipating the kind of move that they need to play here. So Eza goes back and Merino plays a beautifully weighted pass. It's terrific. Through defenders, it's perfect. The touch from Martinelli with the outside of his foot to knock it into his path is absolute perfection as well. And then unfortunately, in the 1v1 with the keeper way off his line, he's got a lot of goal to aim at. He slips, Gabriel Martinelli, and that's why he puts the ball wide. So frustration there for Gabriel Martinelli, but look, he got 3 goals. First career hat-trick for Arsenal. Happy days. Got to talk about Noni Madueke. I thought he was really bright. I mean, he gave the left back a bit of a torrid time, didn't he? Zach Swanson, former Arsenal player. Every time he got it, he wanted to be direct. He had 12 touches inside Portsmouth's box. That's more than any other Arsenal player. 2 assists from corners, of course. Created 3 chances. And it was really interesting, actually. A number of Arsenal players made their highest number of passes to Madueke. They were White. You'd expect that from the right back. Waneri, playing on that right side box-to-box midfield. I thought he did well as well. His most passes were to Madueke. So was Havertz when he came on, and so was Mikel Merino. So it was interesting that they really, really did want to feed him. Of course, he won the penalty brilliantly. Let's not talk about the miss. It was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it, from Noni Madueke? And I don't know whether he's going to get many opportunities to take another penalty. But as with Mikel Merino, there is a but here. And I do want to, because as a winger, and I used to be a winger, you've got to track back. You can't just be interested when you've got the ball. You've got to be really defensively aware, and especially when the fullbacks want to fly forward. So, and some of Pompey's chances and best chances did come from moments where our wide players didn't really switch on. So here is this is the move that I want to show you here that led to Kepa making a fantastic save in the first half, diving low to his left. It was a terrific save, but it started like this. Here you go. The left side centre-back's got it. The wide players come in field. Ben White's followed him in there, and the left-back has gone. He's made that run off Madueke, who's basically not seen him, and he's just not defensively aware enough. And that pass goes through the gap to him. He retrieves it by the corner flag. White goes over there to get it. And his reaction, Madueke, wasn't great. He was a little bit dawdling, and as they feed the ball back into Portsmouth's left winger, he's 2 or 3 yards off, and the guy takes a shot. It's Blair, and he draws a really, really good save out of Kepa. So that's a good example of how you need to do both sides of the game. If you're going to be Mikel Arteta's first pick, if you're going to be trusted, you've got to be great on the ball, but you also got to be diligent and trustworthy when we don't have the ball. And I think that's been a slight issue for Eze as well whenever he's played in that wide area. And there was an example in this game where Eze did something really similar. So we'll pick it up here. Miles Lewis-Skelly's been caught in field. You can see him circled there. And there's a big hole in the left-back area. Now, the right-back has seen that much sooner than Eze. And he's made a great run. He's been picked out beautifully with the switch pass. And Eze's just off it, isn't he? He's nowhere near the guy who runs on, and he draws an excellent save from Kepa again. It's a great strike at the near post, and it's a terrific stop from the Spaniard. So, again, good example of a wide player just switching off momentarily, and how a team like Portsmouth can still punish you. So, against the very best, the real elite teams, you probably concede a goal there. So something to work on moving forwards. We've got to talk, I think, about Martin Ødegaard. He came on in the 69th minute. Oh my goodness, a lot of touches. He made 16 passes into the final third in that final 21, well, it was 25, I think, minutes plus injury time. He made 16 passes inside the final third, the most of any Arsenal player in the entire match. He just got it, moved it, got it, moved it. He was like a magnet to the ball. It was quite incredible. He made 24 accurate passes in that cameo as well, so pretty much one pass a minute. That was more than one area in the whole game. Martinelli and Madueke as well. Obviously, he's playing in a slightly different position, but even so, he was dominant the moment that he entered the pitch. He also created 3 chances. He was looking for Havertz, wasn't he, a lot of the time. I also remember one little lovely square pass to Eze inside the D, who controlled it and drew a good save from the keeper. So Ødegaard looked super sharp, I thought, when he came on, as did the other subs. I think Havertz, it was brilliant to see him, wasn't it? He got involved in the game. He had chances, and the way that he moved and the positions he took up were clever. And the first thing he did was receive it on the half turn and play a beautiful through ball. He, put it in behind the fullback for Madueke to have a shot on goal. So a really good start, I think, for Havertz on his return. Zubimendi completed 6 out of his 6 passes, 100%. Marley Salmon, 16 years of age, our youngest ever FA Cup player, 100% pass accuracy, 8 from 8. He also made a great crunching tackle, which I absolutely loved. And during Timber, kind of come on at right back, then he went centre back. 24 out of 24 passes, 100% accuracy. He looked really solid. So yeah, good contributions from the bench as well. So let's sort of wrap things up. I will talk about the Chelsea game briefly in a moment, but let's wrap things up with some player ratings. Kepa for me is an 8, 4 saves, excellent performance from him. When we needed him, he stepped up. Ben White 7, some really forceful interceptions. I think he made 3 in the game. Good ball across the face of goal. A little bit rash at times defensively. Lost his head a little bit in the second half, but he was good. Ben White, solid 7. Norgal and Gabriel, I'm going to give 7 apiece. Didn't have loads to do. Obviously, there was a slight error from Christian Norgal for the goal, but that side he was fine. Lewis-Skelly, I'm going to go 6. I think he struggled a bit defensively. That pass for the goal was superb, by the way, but I think he could have defended a little bit better, Lewis-Skelly. So it's a step in the right direction, but there's still more to come from him, I think. Mikel Merino is my main man, 9 out of 10. I know Martinelli got a hat-trick, but I thought Merino was outstanding from beginning to end. Really looked good in that role. Waneri 7, really enjoyed his ball carrying. I thought he got stronger and stronger as the longer the game went on. He carried it so nicely, didn't hide, wanted the ball. And yeah, I think Mikel Arteta will be pleased with his work. And I think he'd be a bit gutted he had to come off, actually. I think he would have been enjoying himself. Eberechi, I'm probably going to go a 6 for him. I think a little bit too quiet. He did have some good contributions, some good moments, almost scored a couple of goals. But I think he can do a lot better. I think he can. I want to see him dominate matches like that with greater authority. Can he demand the ball and say, give it to me? And make more things happen. I think he can. So, just a 6 for Eza in this occasion. Madueke is a 7. Poor penalty, but his assists and the dribbling was magnificent. Really, really enjoy watching Noni Madueke. Gabriel Martinelli, I think he has to get at least an 8 for his hat-trick. Very unusual hat-trick for him with a couple of headed goals, but for kudos to him. And look, he's now played himself into some pretty good form. And I think it was nice for him on the back of getting all that disproportionate abuse after, what Gary Neville said and various people in the press. I thought that was over the top reaction because they needed a story. It was a dull game against Liverpool. He copped too much for me, even though, of course, he shouldn't have moved Conor Bradley off the pitch. It was disproportionate, the stick that he got. And it was perfect for him that we can all forget about that now. And, his next game, he's only gone and got himself a hat-trick. So well done to him. Well done to Arsenal. Into the hat for the next round. Mikel Arteta, by the way, I'm going to give an 8 to. I haven't done the subs yet, have I? Marley Salmon, 7. Erdegaard, 8. Excellent. Kai Havertz, 7. Timber, 7. And Zubimendi, 6. He was pretty quiet, but didn't do anything wrong. Mikel Arteta, 8. I think he picked the right team, made the right changes, and the team were on it. Disciplined, the shape was good, the attitude was good. Obviously, we scored from set pieces, so that's some homework that the guys have done behind the scenes. So I think it was the perfect way to take on a team like Pompey. Was that we had the right tactical game plan, we had the right attitude, and we had the right personnel. So hungry players that were eager to make an impression. So an 8 for Mikel Arteta. Obviously, it's the Chelsea game coming up. Big game at Stamford Bridge up against Liam Rosenior. First home game for him. So I think this could be tight. It could be cagey. And we know that they've got those threats on the wings, haven't we? And thinking about the starting 11, I'd have David Raya. I don't know whether Kepa's going to get the nod or not. I'd go with Raya. It's a semi-final. Gabriel and Saliba for sure at centre-back. But I'm thinking, would they try and target Lewis Skelly? Would they, he's struggled defensively, he's struggled against pace lately. Will Chelsea target him? And I think the answer might be yes, in which case, could we maybe bring Ben White into the starting 11 at right back and move Jurien Timber across to left back for this game, kind of this game only, just to handle the threat of Estevao or Neto or whoever plays on that side, whether it's Gittings, we don't know yet who's going to play on that side. I kind of want a really good 1v1 defender that will handle that. And Ben White showed enough in the Pompey game that he's playing his way back into form. So I'd go with that. I'd go with Rice, Zubimendi and Erdegaard because they're so strong in midfield, Chelsea, and I think we could do with our main men in there. I'd personally go Saka. I'd keep Martinelli and save Trossard for Forest because Martinelli's he's going to be buzzing, isn't he? And up top, I really don't know who to pick. So it's a big call, and it'll be really interesting to see what Mikel Arteta does. There's a case that Merino dropping in as a false 9 could work really well for us in this game. His height could be invaluable defending set pieces. They obviously scored from one against us in the league game. So I wouldn't be upset if Merino led the line. I wouldn't be upset if Gyökeres came back in after having a breather. And I wouldn't be upset if Gabriel Jesus started this game and was that roving centre-forward that drags centre-backs out of position. It's going to be fascinating to see who Mikel Arteta goes with in this particular game. I'll be back after that match to analyse it, of course, in the breakdown. So, that's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for the likes, for the subscribes. Hit over 1 million views now. Can't believe it, really. Superb. I think up almost at 25,000 subscribers, which is just absolutely fantastic considering only started this in late July. So yeah, 1 million views. Really, really grateful for all of the support with this channel and for all the really kind comments. It means a lot to me. So and until next time, it's bye from me.